Why is it that some guys have absolutely no fear when it comes to women when they are single or when in a relationship? When a guy is single, he has no fear walking over and talking to a woman, starting a conversation with her, asking for her phone number, getting her out on a date.
That's because a lot of men have an understanding of two things. Well, for one, they're confident. For two, they understand math, the math of it, right? Half of women are going to be in a relationship. Another quarter are going to be in some kind of situationship, some kind of pseudo relationship. So your odds of being rejected are pretty high. So the stakes just aren't there, right? And especially if it's somebody you don't even know at all or you barely know, then the stakes are super low, right? And even if you were to date them, there's no guarantee that it would work out, right? That's where a lot of guys fail. That's where a lot of guys just don't have that skill is they put way too much stake on whether they get rejected or not. When really you should see it as completely meaningless if you get rejected. All right, I got rejected. That's it. It's done. On to the next. Doesn't matter. Completely meaningless. Like you can spend a couple seconds and reflect. Maybe like I did this wrong or I did this right, but ultimately it's meaningless. There should be no more than like 10 seconds of conscious thought about what happened there because there's no stakes to it. There's millions of women on the planet, so you're going to be on to the next one. So doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter if you get rejected. That's the thing is that it does not matter. You should be getting rejected, right? Like especially early on in your dating life, you should be getting rejected a lot. Like your initial when you start your dating life as a man or a boy or whenever your dating life starts, you should be getting rejected 99% of the time, right? If most women are like already involved with the guy and are just their default is going to be to reject you, which is the reality of the world, your the stakes just aren't there. Why would they be, right? And the outcome, the realistic outcome of it leading to a long-term successful relationship are pretty low as well. So again, the stakes are super low. And then like as the man, you have to make all these moves, right? You have to be the one who pursues things both initially and for the um like first little while, right? For the first few dates, you're the one taking the active role and pursuing. So again, that means the stakes fundamentally have to be lower because that's your like role as a man. So why would you have any fear? It doesn't make any sense.
Moving in for a kiss, he has no fear when it comes to that. And when he's in a relationship, he has no fear interacting with his woman when she seems a little bit off, a little bit moody, or initiating affection or sex with her when he's not sure whether or not she's going to want it. He's able to take the chance and not be afraid of initiating something and then potentially being quote unquote rejected. Right? So why is it that some guys have no fear whereas other guys are held back by fear pretty much their entire life? And when a guy is single, for example, if he has a fear.
All right, I'm just going to talk about it since you brought it up. I don't know. I've just never really struggled with that, right? Like if a woman's dating me, she's going to be wanting to hook up with me. If a woman's on even a first date, I just go with the assumption that she's going to want to hook up with me and date me and whatever. And if she doesn't, that's fine. Boom. Then you don't want to date me, then we're done here, like nice to meet you. Move on. Right? Like there's not really more to it. I don't really I see where the fear comes from, right? Like when I was a teenager, or in my early 20s, you know, I felt a little nervous and stuff, but there was no like genuine fear. It's just like, you know, that feeling in like your chest and your stomach where it's like, all right, I'm a little nervous. Like this girl's really hot. I want this to go well. But fear? Why? Like, you're gonna get rejected, guaranteed, quite a bit as a man, especially initially when you haven't developed any riz and you don't have like true confidence in yourself. But just, you have to work towards gaining that confidence. But that just involves getting to know yourself better and getting to know what you want out of life and doing what you can to progress towards that. That's something you have to do. Yeah.
Of being rejected by women, that stops him from talking to the girl that he likes. That stops him from keeping the conversation going and making a little bit more flirtatious, creating a sexual vibe. He's worried about doing that. He's afraid to do anything other than just have a nice chat with her. He doesn't want to seem too forward. He doesn't want to say anything wrong. He could get rejected. Additionally, it also makes some guys end up in the friend zone with women that they like for months or years, where the guy's afraid to ask her out. He's afraid to move it forward. And when he's out meeting women in bars and clubs or at parties and so forth, he's afraid to ask for a phone number or move in for a kiss or get the woman to come home.
Well, that's just tragic, man. Those guys need to grow up and they need to get some riz. It's your job as a man to attract a woman to you, right? In your pursuit of them, part of that is you becoming attractive to them, which you do by having confidence and charisma, right? Because the other things that you could improve about yourself really should have nothing to do with asking women out. It should just have to do with finding happiness in your own life. It's kind of like an entirely separate thing about introspecting, self-improving, finding happiness within yourself. You kind of need that before you start asking women out. But, I mean, you have to do this. You have to ask women out. And having fear just would get in the way. They're going to tell that you're fearful, and that's going to be a giant turnoff. So you overcoming that fear is fundamentally your duty as a man, right? You gaining that confidence is what you're supposed to do, like biologically and societally. Fundamentally, that's your job. Your job is to have that confidence, because women find that attractive. Don't you want a woman to be attracted to you when you ask her out? Come on, dude. Like, you have to have confidence. If you don't have confidence, that's you failing at like a basic task of being a man. You have failed at being a man on the most fundamental level.
Home with him that night and have sex with him. And in some cases, the guy is one of the guys who just stands there and looks at women. Alright, so if he's at a bar or a party, has some drinks, or if he doesn't drink, he's drinking some water, and he just looks at women. Right? He finds them attractive and doesn't do anything about it. He's worried about being rejected, being humiliated in front of others, and him feeling horrible about himself and so on. So the thing is, there is a reason why some men never overcome that fear, and why it holds them back their entire single life, and then may rear its ugly head again when in a relationship or a marriage with a woman.
I'm interested to find out why. We'll find out why in part 2. But like I said, it is absolutely your job as a man to overcome that fear. Because not doing so guarantees that you will be enormously less attractive to the woman you're trying to attract. Which is a problem. It's a giant freaking problem. So, like, do your job out there, man. So, I'll hopefully see you in part 2 as we go through this video. Why some men don't fear being rejected by women.